on to Netflix and let's talk Thursday Murder Club, based on the first of a series of books by Richard Osman about about Richard Osman, and this is essentially about people solving crimes in from an old people's home.
Yes.
All right, so Sharon, please take it away.
The Thursday Murder Club is a group of. It starts off at the beginning of the series. There are three of them. There is long established part of. They're in this retirement home in the country in a converted manor house, and to keep themselves entertained, they have been reviewing cold cases, and they call themselves the Thursday Murder Club because one of their members was a retired senior police officer. Another one is was a psychoanalyst, so he's very good at analysing stuff. Another one was a trade unionist, so he's got that instinctive feel for people. And then they introduce another character who is a nurse. They want someone with a bit of medical history.
Yeah.
And what they do is they review cold cases, real cold cases. They've managed to get hold of old police files. They've got contacts. And so they sort of see if they can actually work out some of these cold cases. And then in this particular on this particular day, the Thursday Murder Club are meeting, and there's a bit of a kerfuffle going on because there's a developer who wants to sort of buy the place where the chase where they live and the land nearby and redevelop it, and it's causing a little bit of controversy. And this man ends up dead.
Ooh.
And so the Thursday Murder Club are right there in the heart of it when they decide to investigate. And then you have got various red herrings, you've got false trails, you've got false suspects, and you've got this unraveling. And you find out a little bit about the history of these four members of the Thursday Murder Club. But it is essentially a group of retirees, people in their 70s,
Yep.
mainly. They're not elderly, but they are, in their 70s, but they've had interesting professional lives, and they're drawing on that life experience to fill their days with other things and doing live classes and doing jigsaws and learning how to do cookery. But it's like they have their own way of filling their days.
Yeah, and this is Helen Mirren, Pierce Brosnan, Ben Kingsley, and Celia Imrie.
Yes, they are the four members of the. And then you've got Ron, who is played by Pierce Brosnan. His son is played by Tom Ellis.
Oh yeah.
And you've got David Tennant turns up as one of the wheeler dealers, the property developers.
Yeah.
You've got Richard E. Grant, who turns up as a shady florist.
Of course.
And you've got
Grant,
various other sort of.
it's like this is one of those things where you start saying the cast, you start saying Helen Mirren, Pierce Brosnan, Ben Kingsley. You're thinking, I'm sure that Richard E. Grant's going to pop up at some point. He's just the right kind of person to pop up and do something in that kind of film.
Yeah, they're uppy pops. So yes, and there's Jonathan Pryce plays. Yes, so there's lots of sort of these British characters
established
in it. Yeah. So as it's well known, it is part of the first novel in a series of books. I think the only thing it's sort of impossible not to like a compare and contrast, isn't it, when you take a book and you put it on the screen. So I personally really enjoyed the book. There's a lot of humour in it, as you'd expect from Richard Osman.
Yeah.
There's it's really well crafted. Which, when you see some celebrity books, I've read some celebrity books, and you think, did you really write this? Or is it like your name on the cover and someone else has written it for you?
I have a friend who does that. I've got a friend who's a ghostwriter, and he actually talks about when he talks about who he's written books for, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And so, but you feel that you can almost hear his voice through it, so you get the feeling that this is actually. You see his personality through the books. Yeah. And I think they are winning. There's a winning combination. And they are actually quite fiendishly crafted. He knows his crime fiction. And there are the false trials and things. So they are very well constructed.
So how did the film do in translating that to screen?
I think in some ways it worked in some ways as a piece of, my friend described it as like Sunday afternoon entertainment. If you want cozy crime. There is they dropped the odd expletive in it, which I don't remember it being in the book so much, but there's a bit
I'm
of
I'm
swearing in it.
I'm going to guess that that's Helen Mirren because she's at that stage of her
Well,
career.
actually, it was Celia Imrie. I think they got her to
Ooh,
do some of the swearing just because it's like out of character and they like old. And some people think it's funny to see old people swearing, and obviously, so there's few instances where she is,
old people and really really small kids.
yeah, sweary, yes. So, part of me was thinking, I don't remember the book being particularly sweary, but there's only a few instances, but enough for me to go. I don't think that's quite. Anyway, but so I personally still think the book was better. I
Yep.
think this was entertaining, solid, but I think it loses a little bit of that spark. I think there's a bit too much well-known faces that, and for me, if you've read the book, some of them you're thinking you're not how I actually saw that character
And
really.
there's been a lot of kerfuffle about Pierce Brosnan because he's definitely like they say that in the book if the character of Run would have been played by Ray Winston
Ray
and
Winston, yeah,
yeah
yeah,
Ray Winston, but for the film they changed it to Pierce Brosnan.
yeah.
Whether that's an upgrade or downgrade is up for you to decide.
He's like a trade unionist. He's like this rough, grown up in the East End. His son's a boxer who's sort of gone, who does like celebrity, sort of dancing on ice, that sort of thing.
Yeah,
So you think um, you can picture, yeah, Ray Winston as Ron, and for his son, you want someone a little bit more earthy. Tom Ellis is almost a bit like too handsome, a bit too good, and
yeah, you can imagine
as a
him being a
sportsman
boxer.
who's then doing the celebrity circuit, who's done like Celebrity MasterChef, who's doing like dancing on ice, who's done a few like Love Island type things. You think you don't you look you're almost like too good looking, a bit too, even
All
though they
right.
put on the old rock
I
accent.
think we've had this conversation before about books into films and how you picture characters. If you read the book,
Yeah,
you get a character, and if you've seen the film before you read the book, I don't know if you've ever done that, Sharon, probably,
yeah.
but you get, and I think
Then
the
they translate. Yeah,
for me, I mean, I'm not as prolific reader as was, but when I read, to me, that's why I think the Lord of the Rings thing works so much because
Eh,
they were how that
yeah.
Lord of the
I
Rings trilogy was actually how I sort of had them from the book.
yeah, I think so. Oh, but okay, first of all, how many stars, Sharon?
I would give it a solid three. I don't think it's better than a three, but it was certainly a solid entertainment.
Yeah.
It entertains for the 2 hours. It's about 2 hours long, so it could have been the book was more complicated. So I think by trimming it down to fit that film format, you lose some of the intricacies and you lose some of the characterization.
Yeah,
But no, it's solid. It was
yeah,
solid,
yeah.
but nothing
I
amazing.
I have to be honest. I was surprised this was a film and not a TV show. I think it was maybe just because they got the cast and they were like, well, we can't keep them around for that long. So
Yeah,
so
they could have done it over 3 or 4 hours, I think. I don't
yeah,
think it quite gone to like 8 episodes, but I think they could have certainly done it over like 4 1 hours or
yeah,
something.
yeah. All right, okay, cool. And Sean, going back to your theme.